Elizabeth!
No, Elizabeth!
No! Elizabeth, don't!
This is Left Unsupervised with Elizabeth Morales, your comedic host that's done it all. Actress, writer, director, producer, hairdresser, bartender, beauty pageant organizer, rock and roll PR expert, talent coordinator, bookkeeper, hostess, makeup artist, wife, mother, and general badass. Now listen as she interviews all of her favorite celebrities, doctors, and entrepreneurs that she's met along the way. This week, Elizabeth is left unsupervised with her guest,
Nic Mora. Season 3, baby.
We're back.
We are back.
And we missed you.
We did miss you guys. And I'm kind of excited about season 3, Dana.
I can't wait to share all of the cool, fun stuff that's been going on behind the scenes while we've been on hiatus with our listeners and our followers. And why don't you tell them about some of the cool new stuff that we've got going on?
Well, yeah, we're going to have, we're hitting the streets and we're asking some left unsupervised questions. Also, we're bringing a little bit more of a comedic, here and there. We're going to be releasing sketches, which will be a lot of fun.
Also, we didn't forget about you guys. Not only are we bringing you new comedy content, we are also bringing you guys some contests, and we want to know what your left unsupervised moments are of the week.
Yeah, and any questions or anything you want to hear more of, we're so open, and we really want to open it up to you guys this season. I have learned so much season 1 and 2, and I feel so lucky to have all these really cool guests, and they just keep coming. So I'm really excited for all the new guests that are coming. We've had some phenomenal guests in the past seasons, and this season's not going to be any different.
Yeah, we've been working really hard to get you guys the kind of bite-size, snackable episodes for your commute or your carpool lane, or when you're having a car sit in a Target parking lot, which is something that I do a lot. So if anybody else is out there and is like me and just needs to sit in your car for 30 minutes to decompress after a long day, we got you, and we're working hard to bring you that content.
I have a little carpool confessions that I'll be putting out, because sometimes it's just scary to be behind that wheel in carpool.
Yeah, if anybody is listening to this episode in the carpool lane,
send us your carpool video.
Yeah, send
confession.
us yours. Tag us in it. We would love to see it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So with all that being said, we are so excited. We can't wait to bring you all of this new content, new comedy. But we've been gone for a little bit. Elizabeth, you've been left unsupervised for longer than we usually leave you unsupervised. What have you been getting yourself into while we've been gone?
Well, a lot. Some I can share, and some I'll share if I have a couple of drinks. But I had a left unsupervised moment this week doing some bad stuff to a Lyft driver in my head. Because, girl, I am not a morning person. And anybody that knows me, my husband knows that I wake up in the morning, don't talk to me until I've had at least one cup of coffee. Right. So don't come with me with what needs to happen that day until I've had my first cup of coffee. So I call Lyft driver because I have to meet Mike. And it's 6:30 in the morning. And the Lyft driver would not shut up. Whole ride at 6 in the morning. And I've only had one cup of coffee.
That's not I know, Elizabeth, that's not enough cups of coffee.
For a talker. He told me about how he just wanted to meet a producer and he could give him his ideas and how he was trying to pick up girls at the market, and the girls out here are really weird, and he really wanted to just talk to them in an unusual way and then give them the look. He shows me the look. It was so fucking creepy. And I go to him, well, don't ever do that look again.
No.
It's creepy. And it was just I don't know if you've ever had those moments where somebody's talking to you and in your mind, I was gagging him and doing a lot of evil things to him.
Oh, yeah.
Because he wouldn't shut up.
I think we've all fantasized when you're in a lift and it's just not going great.
At 6:30 in the morning, rude would be okay. But it's social awareness. I find social awareness is lacking in just people in general. You know?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, and I am like crazy magnet. If the craziest person on the plane is going to sit next to me, it just happens that way every single time.
You're a full hashtag crazy magnet. If we have any other people out there that listen that are crazy magnets, send us your stories because Elizabeth is such a crazy magnet. The stories that you have.
Yeah, I mean, from a woman digging her nails into my arm on a plane because she hated when the plane landed and she started screaming. And I was just dating Mike at the time. And we were going to Vegas and I'm like, oh, if there's a crazy person on the plane, they're going to sit with me. And so we get on the plane, Mike's sitting in front of me. And I have this old woman that's 80 years old holding on to her cooch. And she was like, drunk, and she was like, yeah, he wants this, but he ain't gonna get it. And she keeps pointing to her vajayjay, and I was like sitting there, Mike's like cracking up.
Well, because you did it. The fact that you were on the plane, that sounds like your fault.
It was my fault.
If you didn't want to go to Vegas, if you weren't in Vegas, there'd be no crazy people in Vegas.
Yeah. I didn't want to think about this lady's 80-year-old cooch and the guy that just wasn't even looking at her. Then the plane lands and she screams at the top of her lungs and digs her nails into my arm. And she's like, I hate this part. And
like it's a roller coaster drop. It's a very gradual descent.
And Mike had tears rolling down his face. And he's so lucky that we had just started dating because I was so pissed and I was just trying to keep it all in, but the Latin, getting
You're
Cuban.
a boiling pot. You will boil until you're full Ricky Ricardo.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it'll start gradually, like, what do you mean, And as I get, I get a little bit of an accent and I'm like, excuse me, are you talking to me? Because, and then before you know it, I'm full blown out speaking Spanish at the top of my lungs.
Yeah, you don't even know where the cup of like Cafe Bustelo came from. You got a cigar in one hand.
Aiden's like, he knows. I'm like, don't make me get Cuban on your ass, Aiden. I've asked you 3 times. And he's like, why do you got to get Cuban, mama?
That's so funny. Does Aiden have kind of like a Cuban side too? Where like,
yes,
yeah,
but he doesn't speak Spanish.
So he can't go. He can't
speaks
fully
Mandarin.
Hulk out.
He speaks Mandarin. I'm not kidding. He's taking Chinese, and so but he's got that Cuban, that Latin temper. Like he will take, and then one day he just like he gets that crazy eye like I do. Is like. Start to go inward,
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Because like it's in him. It's like a cultural like thing that like lives inside of him, but he doesn't have the outlet of bursting into Spanish.
No, it feels so good to curse somebody out in Spanish. There's nothing like it. Like really, like I just like when I'm really pissed, the Spanish just comes out. What about you, Dana? You've been on hiatus. What has been your left unsupervised moment? Like I'm sure you've had a lot of them.
Well, I think the biggest difference between like maybe you and I is that I'm desperately seeking some supervision. I just want somebody to watch me a little bit. I'm so overwhelmed. I
give you some guidelines.
Honestly, like I wish that somebody would take my own money. I'm happy to go to work, but just like give me an allowance. So basically, over the course of the hiatus, my living situation changed, and I am trying so hard to kind of like ease into my 30s. I'm in my late 20s right now. I'm trying to make this transition from like not having any of my shit together to having like a comparable amount of my shit together. Like an age appropriate amount of shit together.
Oh my God. Sounds like a lot of pressure.
It's all I want.
Don't cry, Dana.
Just somebody help. I just want some help. It's so hard and it's so overwhelming. So I was left unsupervised at an Ikea this week on a Saturday night.
Oh my God.
I was so stoked to go, and I needed a kitchen table, and I was so ready, and I was going to go get a plant. I was going to get a plant and a kitchen table. And if you want to see a woman just lose her shit, hire a private investigator to follow me around an Ikea when I'm by myself, because I could not
I'm
handle
sweating
it
right now. I'm claustrophobic, so if I can't find my fucking way out of something, unless there's arrows, I start to panic.
Yeah, way out. Way out. There's no way out. It was me and a bunch of couples that were fighting. Also, I didn't know I had a bag, and it was just filled with fucking things I didn't need. I had a bag full of spatulas and light bulbs.
How many candles did you get?
I didn't even get a candle. The way that they have the layout of that place is labyrinth style. Like David Bowie's going to pop out any moment and like give you an orb riddle to like let you get out. It was chaos in there. I'm still upset. I'm still upset about it. But I did it.
What did you buy?
Okay, I bought.
Did you find your dining room table?
I did.
Was it worth it then?
It was absolutely not because I.
You had to build it.
Don't even get. I have a friend who's from Sweden. And I texted her that I was mad at her because I was having such a hard time putting the table together. But the amount of men that watched me struggle with this giant table was like, I felt like I was getting punished for every like radical feminist that has like come before me and like, look, I'm all for it, but like falling down with this thing, dropping stuff. I dropped a plant.
One guy?
One older, not woke man and his wife Cheryl found me in the parking lot and helped me get a table into my 2008 Ford Focus.
Cheryl and Bob.
Honestly, I'm like staring at it like it's on the ground, it's fallen. All I want is a parent right now.
Dana, you're killing me right now.
It was so hard. But then he was like, "Do you need some help?" And I was like, "Fucking finally!" I'm like covered in scratches.
What gave it away? My bleeding fingers.
Yeah, the fact that I'm like bleeding and that my ponytail went from like a normal ponytail to like a Helena Bottom Carter bun. I fully lost my mind just trying to get this table in my cart. So that was my left unsupervised moment.
Hey, determination.
And you know what? Don't leave me alone like that again, Elizabeth.
I'll go to Ikea. We can both have meltdowns in the middle. I'll be screaming in Spanish and you'll be bleeding in the corner in a fetal position.
You know what? That sounds a lot better than being by myself. I don't want any unsupervised. I want to be unsupervised with company.
Oh my God. Well, I think everybody has an Ikea story.
I think so too. But our guest today, I feel like, is kind of like somebody like I look at and I'm like, oh, that's goals. That's somebody who's like on their shit, does things in like a way that like is efficient. She's an influencer. So like, I feel like we'll get into like some cool stuff with her about like a little bit like behind the scenes of how that goes down.
Yeah. I want to pick her brain too, because, you know, she's blowing up right now. And, you know, she's had her blog for a while. So it'll be interesting to see how that's grown and what opportunities have come her way. And if it's been an uphill climb. So it's going to be interesting to see.
Yeah.
You know.
She's not only, you know, a TV host and blogger, she's an influencer. So it's really cool to hear you guys talk and get like a little peek behind the curtain of what really goes on.
Right. Well, let's go get her. Today's guest is a definition of boss babe. It is TV personality and lifestyle blogger Nic Mora. Beyond the Interview magazine named her one of the people in media to watch in 2018. She is making waves on Bravo, Freeform, and Yahoo Style, to name just a few, and has no signs of slowing down anytime soon. I cannot wait to talk to her and to talk about her self-made success and her amazing blog, Give Me Mora, because I want more of Mora. Anyway, thank you for coming in, Nic. I am so excited to have you here today.
Thanks so much for having me. This is awesome.
I am so excited to have you today and talk a little bit about your blog and talk a little bit about everything that's been going on, because I know right now you are on fire, girl.
I am on fire. It's kind of crazy. Sometimes you have like a lull, which is like 6 months of just like not working. And I mean, you know, you're in the business yourself too. So for a while I was like, oh my God, should I just give this up? And then, you know, sometimes when you're ready for things, it happens. And Give Me More is doing really well, thank God. And I'm really starting to navigate towards being a little bit more of inspiration versus just like celebrity news and celebrity stuff. You can get that anywhere, quite frankly.
Right.
You don't really need me to tell you the news. I'm only going to tell you anything that you might not get anywhere else. And I just started a company with some friends called KIF. I have equity in the company, and it's an entertainment news show, but much more opinion-based and for Instagram. So you can check that out at KIF TV with 2 Fs.
Oh, my God.
That's kind of what I'm working on right now. And I just booked a segment on Loveline about entertainment news.
Girl, you are everywhere. Everywhere I've seen you, you're everywhere.
Yeah,
you know?
it's crazy.
So are you a native Californian or where are you from?
LA born and bred, baby.
Oh my God! And you graduated from USC.
I did. I didn't leave home. I'm a true LA girl. It's really funny because everyone's always like, well, no one's from LA in this industry. And I'm like, that's not true.
Yeah, well, my husband's from LA, but you guys are a rare commodity
we're
out
a rare
here.
commodity. But you know what? I don't think I would want it any other way. Like, I can't imagine having lived anywhere else.
Well, I've lived in many places, and I got to tell you, California is by far my favorite.
Is it?
Oh, my God. I've lived in a lot of places.
Amazing.
Yeah. Well, I want to get into it because you have a lifestyle blog, and do people kind of expect you to be how you are on blog? Like, do they expect you to have like opinions when you go out all the time? You know, because your blog, you're giving your
opinion and everything, and your spunk and all that. Yeah, I think people are really, really surprised to find out how chill I am. And I think, like, look, there's a big side of me that's very like, oh my God, yeah, oh my God. And then there's also a very cool, calm, and collected side. I really am an extroverted introvert, and I think that's like the biggest misconception about me of all time is that when I'm out or I'm being social, that takes a lot out of me, whether I'm just being social for personal purposes or I'm being social for work. And it really drains me, and nobody understands how much like I need that like alone time to just like recoup.
Right.
So when I do go out with people and I just am chill and not really like bouncing off the walls, which I think is what people expect from me, they're very surprised. And that's the real me. You know, I am energetic, I am bubbly, I'm always making jokes, I'm always laughing, but there's also a huge side of me where like I need my alone time, I want to not talk, I want to just be in myself, I want to take a bath, go for a workout class. And honestly, I don't think anyone enjoys their alone time the way that I enjoy my alone time.
Well, also your business is talking all the time. So there is that point where you're like, I can't talk, I need to put back into myself, right? In order to talk. What things make you laugh? Because I love to laugh, and like stupid comedy makes me laugh. Like that's my favorite sound in the world is laughter.
Yeah.
So I know you love to laugh. What are some things that make you laugh?
Honestly, good witty banter makes me laugh. Or like just people being unapologetically themselves. Like when you hear like a savage comment from your very innocent friend and you're like, oh my God, like I did not expect that from you. Like I'm obsessed. That's the stuff. Or like just like, you know, I think people who just bring joy makes me laugh and make me smile. And I'm always playing around. I don't think anything's really ever that serious.
Right.
And I'm always, you know, I'm really sassy. Like I will spit it to you. But when I spit it to you, I really want you to spit it back. Like it's me like poking the bear. Like, come on, please.
We're playing tennis.
Can we? I just served it really well. Like you're going to let me win now? Please.
Hit it back.
Exactly. Like I love it. I love making dumb jokes. I love doing dumb things. I love to laugh.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I love to laugh too. It is the best medicine.
It is.
And plus, you can't take yourself too serious.
No, you can't take yourself seriously. Life is hard enough. Like, I find life to be really stressful as it is. So if I can find the funny in things, and after going through like a really dark time in my life where like I was just so stressed and in such a mentally like not a great place when you're in your 20s, you know, the quarter life crisis seeps in and you're trying to figure your way out. It's that time where you really need to dig in and find the funny in your life and in this situation.
And how did you get yourself out of that dark place?
A lot of therapy.
Well, you know.
Therapy, self-care, finding the funny, being around people who can help you find the funny and you know, be your pillar of strength through that time. And I went on vacation for 3 weeks with my cousins to Europe on a last-minute trip, and we laughed so much that trip.
Oh my God.
Unapologetically, like sat in cafes in France and drank and really just enjoyed each other and laughed. And I think it cured me, to be honest with you.
Well,
brought me out of my funk.
Well, hello, going to France just alone would get anybody out of their funk, right? Well, you know, I always say that. Yeah, right?
True.
I always say that it's a different kind of person, right? Entrepreneurs, which I consider you an entrepreneur. You're a
Thank you.
self-starter, a motivator, right? And so
we call it MORA-VATED.
MORA-VATED, there you go. I love it. Well, as a MORA-VATER, right? It's so hard to stay motivated yourself all the time, right? And so even you said as performers, you have dry spells. And so how do you, because when you're an entrepreneur, basically you run the show. You have to have discipline. I always say entrepreneurs are more disciplined than anybody I know because they have a free schedule. And what they do with their time is whether it's going to be beneficial to them or not. So how do you stay, like when you're in those funks, because we all have them.
Yeah.
How do you stay like self-motivated? Because it's all about putting yourself out there in the business that you're in.
It is. It's totally about putting yourself out there in this business. However, I have been working with an empowerment coach over the last few months. Her name is Sophie Nic. She is by far the best thing that's ever happened to my life, especially in this time in my life where everything's kind of changing.
Right.
And she's really helped me tap into, look, Nic, if you're not feeling called to write a blog post, then don't fucking write a blog post. I can say the F word on this, right?
Oh, yeah, please.
Awesome, yeah.
Please do.
I'm really trying to be a little bit more ladylike and not throw the F-bomb every other word. But
this is the wrong place to try that out. Just go for it.
I mean, I love the F word. It's probably the worst thing about me right now. But
and cocksucker.
Oh, my God. I love you. So she's been telling me, if you're not called to write the blog post, then don't write the blog post. If you don't feel called and motivated to do something and you really just that day want to stay in bed, it's okay to do that. And thank God I have a job that allows me to do that.
Right.
But because being a creative is exhausting, and I don't think anybody really realizes how much brain energy it takes for me to write a blog post, making sure that I'm going to connect to you, making sure that there's like a plan of action for the release of that blog post, and taking meetings and making phone calls and making pitches and coming up with creative ideas that might not ever go anywhere with a brand that you're trying to pitch.
Right.
So I've really learned that it's okay to not do anything. And I come from a very big background of my hands need to be banging that keyboard for 12 hours a day, and I need to be doing this, and I need to be hustling, and I'm not doing enough. No. There's a time and place for that. And really knowing when you're motivated to do those things. For me, I know the mornings are the best time for me to work out.
You're a
and
morning
work.
person?
Oh my God, yes. I'm in bed by 10 o'clock. 10 p.m., I'm ready to go to bed. I'm so into that. I sleep by 11 usually. I need 8 hours to fully function. I can't function on like a lot of lack of sleep. And when I'm not feeling the motivation to write, pitch, whatever, if I don't have to, I'm not going to do it. And
right. You're giving yourself permission to not do.
Exactly. And I think
sometimes that's all you need. And then you're like, wait a minute, I really do have something to say.
Exactly. And it's let me really become a lot more creative. And I take a lot more baths. And I'm really just really into self-care right now. So if it's not making me feel good, and I hate to say this because everyone's using the Marie Kondo method, but if it's not going to bring me joy or spark creativity in me right now, I'm not going to do it. And there's nothing wrong with that. And, I come from immigrant parents who they hit the ground running and they hustle, and they work so hard. And I love that about them. And I have my work ethic. But if I can take that time for myself to just veg out, and if I need that and I know that I need that, I'm done feeling sorry for that.
Well, yeah. And also, I think culturally, my parents are immigrants too. They had to work nonstop in order to prove themselves, in order to get opportunities that, otherwise they wouldn't. So I think that that's instilled on the next generation. And there's something to be said to sometimes it's okay to do nothing.
It's absolutely okay to do nothing, and it's okay to take a break, and it's
as long as that's not all you're doing.
I also realized the purpose of working smarter, not harder.
Right.
And I was working harder, not smarter for so long of my life that I sacrificed so many other things in my life, and I realized I was missing out on the greatest joys of life and all the other opportunities. And I didn't take vacations because I thought that it would put me behind. And I didn't do this because I thought that my career would suffer. And it's not always about your career. If you're not good with yourself and in your life and in your personal life, your career is not going to thrive.
Well, and also you're stifling yourself because you're like a little bit so narrow-minded about what needs to be done that sometimes something else can come, and if you don't remain open, you don't see it.
Exactly. And you're really only hurting yourself, I think, in the process. You know, you're not open to other opportunities, and you're really cutting yourself off from great things happening to you. And I realized, like, an organized day-to-day life is an organized business. Everything kind of seeps into each other and makes you like a whole piece of the pie. So,
well, what advice would you give to people that want to blog and feel like they can't get started or it seems overwhelming to
don't
them?
fucking do it. Sorry.
Either you love it or you don't do it.
No, I mean, everyone's like, what advice do you have for bloggers? And I'm like, don't do it, because it's hard, and you're in a time and place where you have to be vulnerable. You have to share pieces of yourself. You have to talk about your life. It's not enough these days to be a blogger posting pictures on your Instagram account. And
well, even Instagram is changing. I just read this article now that they don't want the perfect, over-filtered, overproduced. They want more real.
I've been saying this for a year and a half, that this is where Instagram was going to go. And sure, I love my filtered professional photos,
We
but
all
I
love it.
I mean, I love it.
I'm like, hide that shit.
Exactly. And I hate, I just posted a Insta story right now, no makeup, no filter, and in this lighting. And that's something that I never would have done before. But I know, like, you get to a place in your life where you're like, I don't fucking care. Like,
right.
I don't care anymore what you have to say. I'm so good with myself. But when you're a blogger, you really have to have that confidence, because the internet will tear you to shreds. So if you are on the fence about being a blogger, really take your time and see if this is something that you want to do, because you're not going to make money for the first 2 to 3 years unless you're famous already or you have a really big Instagram following. But even then, your Instagram followers don't convert to blog readers. So I really just always advise people, like, when I speak to them, I'm like, do you really want to be a blogger, or do you want to be a blogger for the free stuff? Do you want to be a blogger because it's cool to be a blogger? Like, it's not cool to be a blogger. It's hard.
It's not. For me, I could never be a blogger. I'm dyslexic. So.
Well, there we go. There's some honesty right there.
If I have to sit down and write my thoughts, I'm like, I always think in this is really crazy, but I think in sketches. Like,
I thought you were going to say I think in sound bites. I was like, that's accurate also.
Well, that too, But to have to sit down and write my thoughts, it's just like, I have a complete respect for somebody that can sit down and do that. When do you feel for you? Because you've been doing this now for how many years?
5 years. 5.5 years now.
5.5 years.
Yeah.
So I'm sure like the first few years or a couple of years probably felt like you were swimming upstream. When did that change? When did all of a sudden things start like, ooh, okay, this opportunity. I know you're working with IGTV now, right?
I'm trying to get more into IG, but I mean...
But
it's
you're
the
constantly
future, but I'm
doing
constantly
stuff.
creating content.
Right, and constantly being, asked to host or do an entertainment segment. So when did that start changing for you?
So I think my whole career has just kind of been a roller coaster of ups and downs. I don't think it's ever been like, oh, I'm on my way up, because anytime I felt like I was on my way up and I was like swimming up the hill and like finally like coasting, something came in and like threw me for a loophole. So the joke was so really fun on me. Like as soon as I was like, yeah, I'm feeling myself. They're like, nope, try again. That's a hard no. That's a hard fucking no. You can start over. So.
Oh my God.
I mean, out of college, I was booked on a job called on Access TV, the channel, not the station.
Right.
Not the show. And the Mark Cuban channel. And so out of college, I wasn't ready for that kind of opportunity to be on national TV. And I was doing Grammys and the Fantasia music video and the Cyrus family and like all this stuff, all this cool stuff at 22 years old or 21 years old. And I was not ready. So
did you appreciate the opportunities that were coming to you at that age?
I felt like it was owed to me, like at that point, because I was like, well, I worked really hard and I gave up all my college fun times to be doing this. And I interned with so many people for free and did so many things for free and helped launch so many businesses and so many companies as a college student. I had 3 internships. People don't know this about me. I had 3 internships while taking a full course load plus an extra class at USC.
That's crazy.
Didn't have a life, was always sick, was gaining weight, like just was hitting the ground and the pavement so hard that by the time I like finished college, I was like, oh my God, I was burnt out. And then I went straight into work. Like literally, I graduated, finished college, finished my last course, and that week I was offered a job at Access. So I was like, are you, like, this is amazing. This is all I could ask for. But I didn't have a minute to process. And I was like, well, this is just how it's kind of supposed to be, right? Because you work for 5 years while you're in college or 4 years while you're in college. And then boom, you know? And I was like, okay, great. And then as soon as Access went from music-based to comedian-based, I was out of a job. So it was very short-lived. But I was still given other opportunities. I went and I executive produced a film and I did all this cool stuff. And then all of a sudden, a couple months after the film that I did, that was a disaster, by the way, was over.
You're like,
NYU fresh off the boat college students, I will never do that again. I will never do that again. So as soon as that came out, I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do? You know, what am I going to do? So that's when I started creating Give Me Mora. That's when I started working with my family in real estate to have an income.
Right.
And I hated the real estate job. I'm still working with them now, the MORA-VATED group. They're amazing. And I'm helping my brother's loan company also on the side when my own business is slow still. And there's nothing wrong with that. But I think people expect to go out of college and like soar, kind of like I did, and then your reality hits you and you're like, absolutely not. Everyone needs like a day job or some kind of day job that's flexible.
Well, especially out here, like
it's expensive.
My goddaughter came out. She just graduated she's got a bachelor in fine arts, you know, and she's like, oh yeah, I want to get an Oscar in 5 years, and I'm like,
good luck.
Yeah, you know, I'm like, oh my God, you're gonna see, you know, so now she sees the difference.
But the whole industry is like up and down. So,
it's crazy.
When I launched Give Me Mora, I was really lucky. I had a lot of people. I had a lot of support. My numbers were really good the first year. The second year, my numbers were awful. And then it wasn't until the third year where I was like, I started taking hosting classes and I started like owning my craft, going in for auditions and really like trying to understand the right way to be a host and not be so spoiled that like I had all this success in college working for magazines and I had already interviewed so many amazing people by the time I had graduated college. So I had an ego. And to really humble yourself down and realize, okay, I might need to start over, it's okay. And by year 3 for Give Me More, I started making money. And last year,
that's awesome. And you have a lot of partnerships. I mean,
we've had a lot of partnerships.
Google, Revlon, Fox, Dr. Pepper, Walmart, Ulta, the
Stars,
list goes on.
Yeah, Stars was my favorite partnership for sure.
iHeartRadio has just been, girl,
been amazing.
You're doing pretty damn
Thank you.
good.
But, you know, sometimes there's 6 months of no partnership. So there you go.
Yeah, well,
Don't let that fool you. I had 6 months this year where I had a hit TV show that was like really doing well online, and we didn't get renewed for another season. And I went from having a job and having partnership after partnership after partnership for 8 months to nothing for 6 months.
Yeah, but that keeps the fire burning.
Oh man, I was
it
like,
keeps
no.
the fire burning. So, it does. Who right now do you feel, because you do entertainment, is the hot ticket?
That's a really good question. I think there's a lot of underrated people in this industry, and I think Megan Good is definitely someone who I've always felt has been underrated, just off the top of my head.
Right.
She's a great actress. Gabrielle Union also, I think, has been really underrated. And I think being Mary Jane, what Gabrielle Union did was so flawless, and it didn't get enough credit and it didn't get enough notoriety. And so for me, a lot of the women of color or ethnic women are just, it's not fair, you know, and I'm a Persian girl. So for me, I don't even see any Persian girls on TV. So that's not fair either. But I think with Gabrielle Union, who's had such great success with films and everything you can name, but I think she's now finally starting to not be so overlooked. And I think she's going to be a hot ticket. She's amazing. It reminds me of Taraji P. Henson.
Well, then she's somebody to look out for.
Yeah, Taraji's just now thriving. I mean, look, everyone's known Taraji for so long, and she got Empire and she went mainstream. So I think that's what's going to happen to Gabrielle for sure.
Yeah. Well, I want to play a little game with you.
Okay.
Before we do that, I want you to plug all your social media and where people can find you.
Okay. So you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Nic, Nicmoraxo. So it should read Nic Mora XO. You can follow my blog at givememora.com. And you can follow us on Facebook.com/GiveMeMora.
Well, you're going to want some more of Mora because she is absolutely a delight.
Thank you.
And I can't wait to have you back in.
I know. I can't wait to be back. This is so fun. I don't want to leave. Can you just cancel your next segment? I'm down.
It's like,
I'll just stay here. It's chill.
Well, you have to come and co-host one day.
Yes, I would love that.
Okay, Dana, come on down, girl.
So, Nic, we play a little game on this show. It's very, very silly, and there are no prizes, so you don't have to take it too seriously.
But I really like to win. That's so annoying.
Well, yeah. Honestly, if you like to win, then go for it.
Okay.
You both have an
So do I.
advantage.
So it's a spirit of competition
Game on,
right
bitch.
now.
Perfect. Oh, I love it already. So you both have a unique advantage. Nic,
Okay.
we're going to read from your Twitter. The game is called Two Tweets and a Lie.
Oh my God.
Nick, we're going to learn a lot about you in this segment.
I'm really emo on Twitter. I don't know if this is a good idea.
Oh, are you? I thought you were so funny. I was like,
thanks.
it was
I
hard
actually
for me
think
to
I'm
pick.
funny, but no one laughs. So
Oh, I thought please follow Nic on Twitter as well because she's very funny.
Thank you.
And it's great. There's lots of hot takes on The Bachelor. It's so great. So you both have an advantage. You wrote all of these tweets,
Okay.
except for one.
Okay.
So
I hope that other one was really funny, so I think it's me.
okay, perfect. And then Elizabeth knows my sense of humor.
Yeah. So I haven't read any of these.
She hasn't read any of them, but you both can play along to figure out which one I wrote,
Okay.
which one is the lie, and
All
which of the tweets are yours.
All right, it's on Nick.
All right.
Got you.
So I'm going to read all three, and then after, you each have 5 seconds to guess which one you think is fake.
All right, let's do it.
Round 1. Michael B. Jordan is the finest guy I have laid eyes on tonight.
He really is.
Okay, hashtag J-Rod. I see you.
Nick is turning red.
What does a girl have to do to meet at J-Lo around here? Which one's the fake tweet?
The second one.
I say the second one too.
The second one is fake.
But I would
Okay.
say that.
There has been mention of hashtag J-Rod on there.
It's
but not
because
that
I'm
one.
just trying to be like J-Rod, and when I saw J-Lo, I cried, and I didn't know if it was because was crying from the fact that I was just 5 feet away from her, or if I cried because of the film that she was in. So I was very confused.
Well,
But you cried.
But I did
you
cry.
cried, which is the important,
Which is the
important
point
part
of the story.
Yeah.
All right, so you two you're both competitive and you're neck and neck right now.
Yeah.
Tied for one.
Mm.
All right, we're gonna go into round 2. First tweet. I can't believe it, but I actually got enough sleep last night. Is this what well rested feels like? Second tweet. I just entered my 8th year working as a TV host. Let's hit him with the overnight success this year. Third tweet.
That's
I've
you.
never had to seek revenge because I know karma is always a beautiful little bitch.
Oh, the first one I think is fake.
I think it's the second one.
She's right. She knows her tweets better than any contestant we've had.
It's low key because I stalked myself back on Twitter to see if I was witty enough.
Which apparently is the advantage in this game. She's winning, Elizabeth.
I
Yes, that
know.
is the fake tweet.
Yeah.
You know why? Because those other two were really memorable tweets.
Oh my God.
Because karma is a little bitch, and I love it.
I like the overnight success. You wrote that one.
Oh, I was like, I know
might
she's
have to
going to
tweet
remember.
that. I might have to tweet that.
I
She
was
writes
like,
the best
yeah.
tweets too. It's like she doesn't tweet, but then she'll play
You
this
should
game.
open up a Twitter account.
I
You'll be
actually
a viral
just did.
sensation.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
wow.
I only have one tweet, and it's a retweet of of somebody else, and the only caption that I put was, I literally made a Twitter just so I could retweet this. So I love that my Twitter feed is one tweet.
Wait, I'm going to follow you after this. This is the best morning of my life.
Yeah.
All right, round 3. You're losing just so everybody's up to speed, Elizabeth is really losing.
I
right
am
now.
really losing.
You're only
It's
off
pissing
by
me off.
one.
It's pissing me off. But, you know, I got to be generous to the guests.
Don't hold back, girl. I would love to lose this one.
Okay.
Okay, so this is round 3.
Okay.
Why am I always right? Second tweet. Fool me once, ... Third tweet. I'm like a human lie detector. Which one is the fake tweet?
The second one.
Yeah, so I could totally hear her. I've known Nic for probably all of 20 minutes right now, and I know that 1 and 3 is probably real.
Oh, they're real, and they were both tweeted 100% in caps.
She's
And
so
they're great.
shy.
Let me tell you something. I am always right, okay?
Are you a cap girl? Do you always write in caps?
No, but
I'm an explanation point girl.
Yes, she is.
I am always right. And I literally bask in the joy when I am right and people think that I am wrong. That is the best part. And I will tell you, I told you so. I have no shame. I love being right. And usually I am right. And people know that.
Oh
so
my God.
It
so
really,
funny.
I'm always right.
That's so great. Also, you are the overall winner of this game, not just of this season, but of all time. No
Yeah.
one has ever gotten all of these right.
No.
You are our
Yeah.
reigning champion.
Stalking myself really
You know, and people say like, "Oh,
Feeling
what
yourself
good could
like,
come
ooh,
from it?"
that was a good one.
Wow, that was pretty, as my queen Beyonce says it, flawless.
That was a flawless execution of that
Wow,
game. Well, thank you
wow.
for being such a good
I
sport.
hope
and-
nobody beats my record, or I will come back and try to beat that.
Well, all right, you heard it here. She's coming back. If anybody of our new guests remembers, stalk yourself on Twitter, guys. If you're coming on this show, I will make fun of you.
So, Nic, one more question before you leave. It's
Okay.
a question I ask all my guests.
Okay.
If you could be left unsupervised with your celebrity crush, who would you bring and where would you go?
Okay, so I have many celebrity crushes, and then every time I meet them, they're no longer my crushes. So I haven't met Chase Crawford yet from Gossip Girl. I mean,
Right.
he's obviously been in 55 million other things. But it's between Chase Crawford and Michael B. Jordan, as we can see from the tweet game.
Yeah.
And I would love to be stuck on a random island with them, honestly, in the middle of nowhere with no cell reception so they cannot escape me.
Oh, my. Well, I'm loving this answer.
No way out.
Stalkerish style.
No way out. Maybe like a cool little villa with like a TV and Netflix.
Oh, I like that.
But like with a private chef, but no way out.
Yeah.
Like
Doors
we're all
got to
stranded.
be locked.
Maybe like an episode
all
of The
times.
Bachelor, where they can't like leave. That sounds really good. I think I should be the Bachelorette, and I think that Chase and Michael should be competing for me.
Well, I love this. I love it.
It's going to be really hard. It's going to be the most, as Chris Harrison says, it would be the most dramatic season yet.
I would watch that show.
I mean, everyone's been trying to get me on The Bachelor for for the last 7 years, and if it wasn't for my poor Persian Jewish dad who would have lifetime embarrassment, I would have done it. I am reality TV gold, and everyone knows it. I'm scared of my parents.
Well, there you I don't blame you. They're like Latins. Like,
Yeah,
I'm scared of my
exactly.
parents, too.
Exactly.
Well, Nic, thank you so much for coming, girl.
Thank you
and,
so much for
I
having
wish
me.
you the best of luck, and I
Thank
can't
you.
wait to see more of you.
Thank you. I'm so excited.
Thanks for listening to Left Unsupervised. Don't forget to stalk us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Left Unsupervised Podcast. We'll catch you guys next week. Thanks for listening.